The easiest way to make a podcast? Let me explain. One, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Should we get this thing started? Thank you for tuning in to Muse by Mariah, the podcast where we dive deep into discussing mind, body, and soul. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of my podcast, Dream Empathy. This is going to be such a fun episode because it's a topic that I have been researching since I was younger. I have always felt strongly connected to the dream world, and going to sleep and entering this other realm is something that I look forward to every day. And I had actually just recently seen a TikTok from @WokeDeb that kind of really nicely summarized what a dream is and entering that dream world. So I'm just going to repeat what he said. Every night you close your eyes and leave this world. Your soul travels through the stars and into a new body. New worlds beyond your imagination become clear to you, as if you've been here before. You always form an attachment with these new worlds. This is called a dream. More than what you think, but less than what you know. A dream is a watered-down explanation of a connection from your body to your spirit, expanding the minds of all living with a heartbeat. Connect with your dreams to further connect with yourself. Hidden messages await your discovery, so don't ignore them with the belief that these are nothing more than just dreams. Now, the dream world, especially recently, I have felt more of a connection with, and I feel like that's because I'm at a time in my life where priorities are changing, everything is kind of shifting, and I'm starting to figure out my purpose. And I feel extreme comfort when I enter the dream world. I receive symbols, signs within my dreams that kind of give me clarity and relief as to the path that I'm on. And it has also given me some clarity on certain things that I had in my life, certain people that I have in my life, and just kind of how to go about certain situations. I have always felt a really deep connection with this other realm since I was younger. I have always had extremely vivid dreams where I would wake up and there was some dreams that I have had that I questioned if they happened because they just felt so real. I also have the ability to remember dreams that have happened to me from when I was like 10, 11, like that young. And I still remember them clearly to this day. And I do strongly feel like that has something to do with my family background as well, because my mother and my grandmother, if you guys are familiar with the OG Ama, we have all had these dreams that have actually come to fruition. And, that's something that I've always kind of wondered is, are we given those signs and shown these things that eventually happen in the future in our dreams in order to protect these people that it happens to? Or is it a manifestation of things that we think? That's something that I've always wondered. I've always had such a big fascination with the other side and mediums and clairvoyance and psychics and all of that stuff. No, I do not think at all that I have the gift that people said or the ability to be able to speak or see the other side. I wish I had that ability. And I am absolutely amazed by anyone who actually has that ability. I've actually been blessed to meet a few that are so amazing, and you never know, maybe I'll have them on an episode, wink, wink. But I do feel like I am especially in tune with my intuition. And instead of questioning the things that I'm given or shown, I kind of, take a step back, look at it from a bigger picture, try to analyze it in a way, and then see how it can relate or correspond to something that's going on in my life currently, or maybe someone else's life. So, the title of this episode is called Dream Empathy. And I titled it that because I do consider myself a dream empath. So, by definition, from the dictionary, quote unquote, a dream empath is someone who regularly experiences extremely vivid dreams and that they are being brought information, guidance, healing through spirituality, and being able to overcome difficult emotions. This is also through nightmares as well. And you're given information in order to help yourself or to help others. A lot of times, these are given in symbols or forms such as animals, colors, numbers, people, or even voices. For me personally, a lot of the messages that are shown to me through my dreams are in the forms of animals. And I have always seen animals since I was younger as well. I can remember there was one time in my life that my parents were like arguing a lot, like whatever, household was toxic. And there was 3 consecutive nights in a row where I had dreams of snakes killing me and chasing me. And if anyone is familiar with animals and dreams, then you know that you don't really want to see a snake in your dream. They are not known to be a great symbol. Seeing a snake in your dream means that there is a bad energy, negative energy. In Hispanic culture, snakes are looked at as kind of brujeria, like witchery, like an evil presence, an evil spirit. And I remember having those dreams 3 nights in a row. I'm like, all right, well, I guess my life is shit right now. But there has been other dreams. Like I had a dream about a stingray one time. And after I woke up from that dream, I was like, a stingray, that is such a distinctive animal. And I was like, let me just Google to see what it means. And it was so scarily accurate to what was happening in my life at that moment. I remember telling my mom, and like we were both just shook. And then I think the most recent one that I had with an animal that I can remember was this certain breed of vulture. Like it wasn't a vulture, but it was this kind of vulture that I remember seeing in my dream. And I had to look up for so long the right image of what, I can't think of what the breed was at this moment, but I just remember that it was the exact thing that was happening in my life. But actually, recently, I've been seeing a lot of symbols in my dreams and like weird symbols. Like, I had a dream one time that I was in my old house and like these people were coming to fix something. These like young kids, they were like 8 to 9 to 10 years old. And after they had fixed everything, we were sitting outside. It was like a barbecue at my house. And one of the guys who came to fix whatever it was like, why is that on your lawn? And I was like, what? And then I turned around in my dream and I looked on my lawn and my whole lawn was filled with cracked eggs. And I remember as soon as I saw that, I woke up immediately and I was like, oh my God, this has to mean something. And I Googled it and it was like, oh, think twice about every decision that you're going to make. Like you're going to make the wrong choice about something within the coming weeks. And I was like, fuck, like what does that mean? So I had in the back of my head, right? I was like, okay, I have to think twice about every single move that I make because I don't know what this means. Tell me how a couple days later, it's like 2 or 3 days later, I went out to a bar with my friends and I parked in a no towing zone. And I sat in my car and I was like, I shouldn't park here. I shouldn't park here. And you know what I did? I parked there. And you know what happened? My car got towed. And $300 later, I got my car back. And I was like, oh my God, is this the thing that was in my dream? Like the choice that I had, and I completely did not listen to myself and still did it anyway. To this day, I still tell myself that that's what that dream meant. Another form of messages in your dream is actually teeth. If you've ever had a teeth falling out dream, teeth pulling dream, that is such a strong message. And a lot of times it has to do with communication. I remember really vividly this one tooth dream that I had where I was standing there, but I had no control over my body, but I was pulling my teeth out one by one. And I Googled what that meant. And when you pull out loose teeth, it symbolizes a conflict that you feel like you need to speak up about and kind of resolve. Another message is dreaming about your teeth crumbling. I actually had a dream like this too. And I was chewing down on my teeth and they just started crumbling like sand. And I Googled what that meant. And it means you've had an argument with somebody, or it can be an internal argument, and you just feel like you haven't gotten your point across. You feel like the person that this argument is happening with, you kind of misconveyed or shown your side in the wrong light, and you kind of feel like you need to fix that. And lastly, is if you dream about your teeth falling out one by one. This symbolizes something that you might have said that you kind of regret or wish that you said it in a different way. You might have hurt somebody when you said it, but this is ultimately a sign of regret or guilt. I found it interesting that when I was doing research for this episode and kind of any other time when I was Googling what my dream meant or whatever, that the science behind dreams and the dream world is just not there. Science does not back up the symbolism of dreams. A lot of the articles that I read about dreams that were some were posted in the Harvard Medical. There was others that were posted in Science Weekly that dreams are kind of just conveyed based on what happened in your day. So if you feel stressed about a situation, science believes that because it's weighing so heavy on you that you dream about it, which I understand that perspective because yes, that does happen. Like for example, if you're in a relationship and things are not going too well and maybe you have like an inkling that your significant other is doing something behind your back and then you happen to have a dream that they cheated. Like they kind of the way science describes it is that that's because that's what you're thinking throughout the day. And they don't stand behind the meaning of a deeper message. It's important that if you really want to connect with your dreams and if you want to experience the dream world, that you have to be optimistic and open to the things that come. Yes, don't get me wrong. I have had dreams that I had no idea like what they could even mean. Like they just like made no sense at all. But there are certain dreams where I had no doubt in my mind that it was a message sent to me that I needed to analyze and to look at on a deeper level. There is also a lot of conversation behind dreams that we have with loved ones who have passed. And I read a few articles about this, and a lot of them said that normally these are guilt dreams, depending on what the situation or relationship is with this person who has passed. Science says that it's your guilty conscience and something that you're thinking about, which is why you have a dream about it. I do understand this perspective, and everyone's situation is unique. So yes, you could feel guilty about the relationship with the person who has passed, but I do strongly believe that there are often times where loved ones come into our dreams in order to give us messages. For example, I had a close family friend of mine pass away earlier this year, and I remember speaking to his daughter about a dream that she had a few days prior to him passing. And she had said how real the dream felt, and she can remember it super vividly, where he was coming up to her and hugging her and saying, "I'm sorry that I couldn't say goodbye." And in real time, she wasn't able to say goodbye. So I think a lot of the times, obviously, like I said, everyone's situation is unique, but there are often times where loved ones come to us in our dreams in order to tell us messages where they might not have been able to tell us in the physical world. And this is a lot of the times our guardian angels who they could come to us in a physical form in our dream. Physical form meaning a person, or it can be animals that I was talking about earlier, symbols, colors, any of that. And I think it's crazy. There was actually a medium who came to my house one time, and she had told me that one of my guardian angels is actually my mom's ex fiance, who was her boyfriend prior to my father. So I thought that was ironic. But you know what's also ironic? Feel like I knew that without having a medium tell me that, because it's weird. It's hard to explain because obviously I never met the guy, but I always felt like a connection to him. And then when she said that he's one of my guardian angels and he's watching over me, I was like, okay, that makes sense. One of the things that I'm actually really inconsistent with doing it. I wish I was more consistent, but a strong recommendation for anyone who feels like they have really vivid dreams is to have a dream journal. And I do have a few dreams written down in my notes on my phone, but the amount of dreams that I had, that shit would be like 20 fucking pages. So it's strongly recommended that you write down each dream and try to remember as many details as you can. And there is this phase actually after you wake up when you're not fully awake yet. It's called the hypnagogic state. So the period between waking and sleeping. This is when you remember your dreams most clearly, most vividly. And this is when you want to jot down everything that happened, even the smallest details, even if it seems not important, write down as much as you can remember. It is also said that the more you log your dreams and journal your dreams, the more open you become to the dream world. So the more messages you'll receive, the more you'll remember, because we dream every night, but we don't remember every single dream that we have. When you do journal about your dreams, I think it's also important that, yes, you write down everything that happened in your dream, but you should also, after you finish researching the potential meanings of it, write down what Google says, write down what it means to dream about some breed of a vulture. That's kind of what helped me, and it helps me remember what happened. And let's say something happened in my current life where I'm like, oh my God, like what did my dream again? What did it mean? So it's easier to just like look back and see if you can connect the dots. My friends are always like, oh my God, Mariah, I just had this dream. What does it mean? Or, Mariah, this was in my dream. Do you know what it means? Da da da. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm like a low-key dream expert. No, I'm just kidding. Disclaimer, I am not a dream expert. However, if you've had dreams that are similar to anything discussed in this episode, or if you just want to share, you can comment on this post or send me a message on Instagram at MariahMar328. I would honestly love to talk about it because this is one of those topics that just fascinates me so much. I love talking about the dream world and how other people view it and their perspective on it. If you aren't already, make sure you subscribe to this podcast and leave a good review because it is greatly appreciated. And continue to check out musebymariah.com as new articles are posted weekly. Thank you guys.